Part 2. He takes out a pair of tweezers and lays them carefully by the petition. Then he takes out a glass disc with a wooden handle attached and puts this next to the tweezers, nudging them this way and that to make them all line up neatly, like soldiers or school children or pinned butterflies. Then he closes the drawer. He does all these things with an infinite slowness that makes my skin prickle and crawl. In one hand he picks up the tweezers, pincers the top corner of the petition and lifts it, keeping his long arm extended. With his other hand he picks up the handle of the glass disc and peers through it. His eyes bulge, huge through the glass, flicking back and forth as he reads aloud. We, the undersigned, write in protest to point 4 of Article 15 as decreed by Government Representative Mr Zamora. We request that persons under 18 be afforded the same right as those over 18, namely that the Director of Health authorises this person to remain on Cullion on the condition they stay within the Sano areas. Limited trespass may be made into leproso areas under authorised supervision. It is horrible to hear the words quoted from the signs stuck up on every street, spoken out loud, especially in Mr Zamora's faintly amused tone. We feel that this is the kindest and most tenable way to temper the already traumatic effects of forced separation without resorting to forced migration. Signed, Mr Zamora looks up from the petition. Seemingly everyone on this crazy rock. Not quite everyone, says Nane. She has been standing so still it felt as if I were holding hands with a statue or a tree, but now she reaches forward and plucks a pen from the inkwell on Mr Zamora's desk. Don't! Exclaims Mr Zamora, but Nane has already ripped the petition away from the tweezers, leaving a shred behind the glinting pincers. She scrawls her name on a tiny space, then puts it back down on the desk, jabbing the pen back into the inkwell so little black spots spray everyone. There. Now everyone on this sorry rock has signed it, Nane hisses. She is breathing hard, her scarf flaring in and out. Behind her, Bondoc is looking at her as if she is as wondrous and as terrifying as a tiger. Mr Zamora is staring at her too, but as if he has seen a ghost. His arms are raised as if still holding the petition, the fragment quivering in the tweezers. His skin is pale as paper, his puffy lips mouth wordlessly. His gaze flickers from Nane to the ink spots that are blooming across the square piles of papers, across Nane's scarf. He whimpers like a kicked dog and looks down at the spreading black on his pink tie. Mr Zamora, says Sister Marguerite. He whispers something. Pardon, she says. Out, he says, quiet as a hiccup. Get out. But sir, you haven't given us your answer, says Kapunu, stepping forward. Mr Zamora reels back, knocking over the chair and drawing himself up jerkily. Don't come near me. Kapunu stops mid-implore. You want an answer? Mr Zamora turns his back on us and opens the drawer of the dresser he has stumbled against. He takes out a small bottle and scourer and then squirts the clear liquid from the bottle onto the ink on his tie. A sharp smell prickles my nose, like the tang of a hospital. While he speaks, he begins to scrub. The answer is no. No matter how many petitions, how many signatures, no matter how much you lepers and your offspring want a different answer, the answer will still be no. But, starts Kapunu, and you'll be wanting a reason, as if the reason is not clear enough. Mr Zamora is not looking at any of us, which I'm glad about, because I don't want him to see me cry. We want to end this disease, and do you know how we'll kill a disease? We stop it breeding. He stops scrubbing his tie, puts some of the clear liquid on his hands, and then begins to scour his palms. We stop it multiplying, and to do that we must keep clean. His palms are scrubbed raw. Sister Marguerite touches Nane on the shoulder, and we all begin to back away towards the door. Mr. Zamora continues speaking into his hands, which have started to bleed. We stop it cleanly in its tracks. We take the clean ones and we give them a clean life. Surely you must agree that it is important above all things. Take these butterflies, he says, gesturing at the walls. They have never known disease or danger. I even give them a clean death. It is not a kindness. Are they not beautiful, clean, untouched by the world? Sister Marguerite opens the door and we hurry out. Before she closes it, I look back at Mr. Zamora, still scrubbing, surrounded by the rainbow patchwork of dead butterflies. He looks up finally. He is panting, his eyes wild. We will make history of lepers, he says, and a museum of this island. Sister Marguerite slams the door. My hands are shaking, and even Bondoc trembles as we leave Dr. Thomas's house. I hear Dr. Thomas asking Sister Marguerite what happens, but she just shakes her head and walks past us all without a word. She takes the path down towards the sea, towards church, and I know she is going to pray. The rest of us walk in our own little bubble of quiet, past the hospital and its queue of people, past the new houses, all the way home. Nane is limping heavily, leaning as much on me as she does her stick. Bondoc hovers, but she does not fall. At home, I boil water and steep ginger root. I huddle next to Nane as we drink. He is sick, said Kapunu finally. We knew that already, rumbles Bondoc. No, really sick, says his brother. Did you see how he laid out the tweezers and the magnifying glass? Such precision, and how regimented those butterflies are. Lepidopterist, I think, rolling the word out over my silent tongue. Lepidopterist. The beats drift softly up and down like butterfly kisses. And how he reacted when I got near him, says Nane in a small voice. He wasn't just disgusted, he was scared. We should report him, said Bondoc. To who? Sighs Kapunu. The government that sent him. But they're in agreement, says Kapunu. He's acting on their behalf. Then why the petition? Nane says sharply. Why give us that hope? Because it was worth it, wasn't it? Said Kapunu. To try everything. She does not answer him. I'm not sure either.